what we have to focus on. And it's easy to start to get distracted. At the end of the day, like the more prepared you are, the more confident you go to games. And that's something that we focused all season on. Prepared each week the same way. We're focused on the things that we have to make sure we master in order to win this game. So, yeah, I mean, it's important to build confidence, and a big part of that is how you prepare. It's like when you go into a test and the answers are, you come in, you walk in like and that's just the way it is in any game, and it includes this one. Well, every season is different, and every game is different, and you use your past experiences to do everything you can to put your team in a position to be successful. That's really what it comes down to. And so every year you learn, you grow. This is a different team. This is a different opponent in terms of their personnel. And so we're going to do everything we can to win this game and focus on that, because what's coming tomorrow or what's coming on Saturday, it doesn't matter. What matters is right now, like having a great Tuesday. But what's happened in the past doesn't matter either. It doesn't. You can learn from it, but let's just have a great Tuesday, prepare the best we can to win this game on Saturday. And that's where the focus has to be. We can't let anything else distract us. No, I mean, you have to play with emotion, but you can't let it play with you. And you have to learn to use it as nitrous, not as a primary fuel source. And I think that's where our guys have to continue to just focus on the process of how they prepare for games, and that they're going to have enough emotion when they get into the game. We don't need to incite any more of that during the week. They know how important this is. They know that this is our number one goal every year to win this game. So that'll be our focus. And like you said, I mean, you start to get over emotional, and you can start to get distracted and get yourself out of whack and not do your job. So let's just focus on each individual guy, making sure that at the end of the day they've graded out a champion, and that their positions have graded out a champion. Well, talent all over the field. It starts on offense with quarterback. He's a dangerous player. Running back Marshall is a very good player as well. Runs downhill. He's physical. Offensive line and tight ends are good. Marsh and Raleigh are very good as well. So talent. On defense, same thing. You see Moore and Arm off the edge. These guys are two of the best pass rushers in the country. And certainly in the back end, they've created a lot of turnovers. So special teams is very good. I mean, again, what you'd expect in this type of team, talent in all three phases, well coached, and so yeah, we got to make sure that we're preparing at a high level this week and be our best. Lead the team to a victory. That's it at the end of the day. And what does that look like? It depends on how the game plays out. But he's got to do his job, make great decisions, and ultimately, be the guy that leads the team to victory. And that's the number one goal. The rest of it, is gravy. So he's got to do as good a job as anybody in the building this week. Get out in front of it. He's got to communicate. Handle the environment and what comes with it. He's shown composure this year. Again, that was going to be his best kick an ass. That's what we want to do on Saturday. So we're preparing to do that, and that's it. Like, there's nothing funny about this at all. But the fun part is winning. So we'll save the fun of being in the locker room and celebrating after the game. But the preparation is like, that's what you love. You love the competitive part of this and everything that comes with it. And our guys came in Sunday. Came in here yesterday. Got work on their own, and even guys in the building today. I mean, they got a good bounce in their step, and they look forward to this week. When we play matchup games like this, it can come down to one play. So everybody in the entire building has got to be on point this week. And that's special teams, and that's on offense and defense, and everybody involved with it. So certainly the quarterback gets a lot of the attention, but we need everybody. Well, I mean, I think they're getting more opportunities in games, and when they do, you're seeing some improvement there, and so this is great for them, and this is the challenge. This time of year, last year it was with the offensive line. This year now it's with wide receiver. So this is where you get tested. This is what coaching is all about, making sure that guys are stepping up to do their job when it matters the most. And so again, great opportunity for them now that they've played some games here. They played some conference games. They got to continue to grow and step up this week. I think we built some depth there, which is what we kind of wanted to do here in the last couple of weeks. Give these guys a chance, and it's given us some more versatility in what we do, and that's important. I think it's important now more than ever when you get different personnel groupings and what these guys can do. And when you look at them, their versatility is critical. And so I think when you look at them, they all can do things well. I think maybe each guy does a little better than other, but there's not really anything that like we take them off the field for like that. So, Keenan's done a nice job of building, camaraderie in that room and production.
Different this week, or is it really?
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, because there's a difference of like the preparation, the routine, and then like the other stuff that maybe slips in.
Yeah. No, I mean, certainly you have to know your opponent. You got to know what comes with it. But we're also not going to overdo it. So, yeah, there'll be a lot of things shown this week.
Okay.
So, and we'll just, the motivation's already there. And again, we need to make sure we stay focused.
In a tough game, that's the most physical game of the year. How prepared do you think your defense is for this game?
Well, I think, when you watch the way we played this season, it's, again, been in preparation for this time of year and this game. And so, you go off of what you've seen, and it's important that we put a good plan together that these guys can play fast on the field and understand situational football, try to take away what they do best, and just play great defense. And, in a game like this, field position becomes critical, everything becomes critical. So, I know that these guys are already in here working really hard on that game plan, and we had a great Tuesday practice, but it gives everybody confidence, when you have a defense that's playing well. I just think it's probably, just making sure that, you're keeping everybody locked in and focused on doing their job. I know, boy, that sounds really basic and bizarre, but there's obviously a lot that comes with this. This game means a lot to a lot of people, nobody more than the people in this building, but I think that's where, you have to make sure that you're compartmentalizing all that and doing, what you need to do to make sure you're ready to go play in the game and putting your guys in a situation to be successful. And then just getting rid of all the distractions and getting with your guys and get ready to go play a game. And that's really it. I think, the rest of it is what you do all season long. I don't think you'd all of a sudden just get yourself up and ready to play in this game. It's a preparation week after week after week after week to be at our best for this one right here. And so here we go. All the foundation's been set. It's time to go put it to work.
It was crazy. How much does the paranoia ramp up? How paranoid do you guys get that something's happening?
I mean, I guess this week what you try to do is you just try to bring everybody a little bit closer, a little bit tighter. It's just kind of what happens when you're playing this week. And we'll do the same thing, when we head up there. It's kind of the way it is, I guess, maybe because Thanksgiving week and everything like that. We'll just get a little bit closer and batten down all the hatches.
How you do it now?
Yeah, I think when each year is probably a different story when you start it from beginning to end and what transpired during that game. And then, I think for me, it's just continually stepping back and looking, all right, so how did we get ourselves to that point during the season, and then how did we perform during the game? And clearly the last 4 years hasn't been good enough. We lost the game. So you have to be critical and figure out, okay, what needs to be better. So, there's certain things thematically, there's certain things during the season that you feel like you have to prepare for to be ready and have things ready to go for this game. And then there's also just a mindset going into the game that you have to make sure you're ready for. I think it goes back to what we talked about, the whole idea of chopping wood and carrying water, and knowing that you just can't hustle to Saturday after Thanksgiving. You got to play through the year, and there's a lot that goes with it. It's a building process and a foundation. We're finally here, so this is the best part of it. We've been waiting a long time to get back to this week. I don't know. We're all the sum of our experiences, and you learn from things and you grow from things, and you just try to do everything you can again to put your guys in a situation to be successful, and that's it. And we're going to rely on our experiences going into this week. I can't really say. We all grow. We do things well. We have our failures, but you got to grow from them, and that's it. And so this team right here is a different team. They have a great look in their eye. I think that's the most important thing here, and so that's the focus. And again, what has happened in the past really has nothing to do with what's going on right now. And what goes on today is the most important thing. And I know it sounds like a cliche again and say it over and over again, but that has to be it. And then we have to go do it in the game, and that's it. We have to field kicks. We have to make our kicks. Just take care of the football. All the things that we work on, because if we don't, we put ourselves at risk. And so that's it. Everyone's got to do their job and making sure we're prepared. We need Bo to play well. We need him to be at our best, at his best, like everybody else. And you just go for what you've seen all year. And we all know that what this game means, but we also have to make sure they understand it's football. And so you have to trust what you've done leading up to this point. That's why we work so hard in preparation and what he's done up to this point in his growth. So and these are the types of game where legends are born. And so these guys understand that. And I think about Chris Olave as a freshman, that year where he blocked the punt and had 2 touchdowns in that game. Like that, his career just took off from there. Garrett Wilson had a big game that year. Like you said, guys in this game have used this as an opportunity to springboard their career. So great opportunity for those guys.
Opportunity for so many guys.
I think it's a good mix of guys that were here last year and some guys who were fresh to the party. So it's a different group. It's a different dynamic. They all know how important it is. We have a great mix. Our whole foundation is built off of guys from Ohio. We can't just recruit Ohio guys. There's just too many great, talented players throughout the country. But our foundation's from Ohio, and those guys grew up seeing the rivalry, knowing the rivalry, and then obviously when we recruit, everybody in the program, whether it's a player or a coach, they understand what this rivalry means. So they all know, they get it. But for some of these guys, it'll be their first time out there, and then the older guys can kind of show them the way in terms of what it means for preparation and all that. But I think when you look at some of these guys and what their perspective was of kind of how last season went, the good, the bad, the ugly, and what came with it. There's a lot to learn from there, and I think these guys will be prepared.
Smith did off the hook. How confident are you in what you've seen of him just being able to, at times, wing it and get it done?
Well, I think that's the art of being a quarterback. If you just start winging it, then you got to put yourself at risk just because you're winging it. Yeah, it comes naturally. You have to make great decisions, and when it's time to compete, you got to compete. But that's understanding time, situation, score, and everything that comes with it. So Julian's going to do a great job preparing us. He has all the way up to this point, and he's going to work as hard as anybody in the building to make sure he's ready.
But you've seen him emerge in that area, right, over the last several games of being able to take a broken play and make something?
That's right. Yeah, and that's a sign of a good quarterback. When it's the way we drew it up, make routine plays routinely, and when it's not the way we drew it up, you got to make the coaches right. And Julian's done a good job of that.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.